When you picture cybersecurity, you probably think of a hacker in a dark room breaking through digital firewalls, right? But what if I told you the biggest security vulnerability isn't in our software, but in our own minds? Today, we're going to dive into social engineering, the art of hacking the human.
So, first things first, let's get a handle on the world we're living in. Cybercrime isn't just some small-time annoyance anymore. Nope, it's a full-blown, booming industry, and it is getting smarter and more efficient every single day.
Just look at this number, 442%. That's the recent explosion in vishing, or voice phishing. What that means is attackers are hitting the phones using calls and voicemails to trick us. They're constantly changing their game to see what sticks. And the price tag for these attacks? It's staggering. $4.5 million was the average cost of just one ransomware attack back in 2022. And you know how they get in? So often, it's social engineering that basically leaves the front door wide open for them.
And this quote from the CrowdStrike Global Threat Report really hits the nail on the head. These aren't just random one-off incidents. Cybercrime has become this highly organized business, and they're using AI not just to break into machines, but to manipulate people on a massive scale.
Which brings us right to the heart of the matter. The new battlefield isn't just about finding flaws in lines of code. It's about exploiting the predictable, sometimes messy patterns of human psychology.
So let me just ask you this. What if the biggest security risk in your life isn't that old computer in the corner, but your own curiosity, or your desire to be helpful, or even just your fear of getting in trouble? That's exactly the territory we're in with social engineering.
So, at the end of the day, social engineering is all about psychological manipulation. Attackers create a sense of panic with a fake alert from your bank. They might play on your empathy, pretending to be a coworker who desperately needs help. Or they prey on your fear, telling you you'll be in big trouble if you don't act right now.
The difference is actually pretty simple, but it's so important. Traditional hacking goes after machines. Social engineering goes after us. It targets our trust, our emotions, our gut instincts. The goal is to get an insider, someone like you or me, to just open the door for them.
Okay, so we've got a good handle on the what and the why. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty, the how. Let's break down some of the most common tactics these guys use.
I'm sure you've heard these terms thrown around: phishing, smishing, and vishing. They sound kind of technical, but honestly, it's all the same scam. The only thing that changes is how they reach you: an email, a text message, or a phone call. That's it.
But the attacks that are really dangerous, they're not the random spam messages. They're the ones that are carefully researched, incredibly personal, and aimed at very specific, high-value people.
This is something called whaling. The attackers basically become digital stalkers. They study an executive's LinkedIn, their Twitter, their public interviews, and then they craft the perfect fake email that looks like it's from a trusted colleague to steal their login credentials.
And a successful whaling attack? It almost always leads to this: business email compromise, or BEC. The attacker gets into the exec's email and then sends a message to the finance department ordering an urgent, top-secret wire transfer. The result? Huge financial losses.
Now, we've been talking a lot about digital attacks, but it's so important to remember that social engineering also happens right here, in the physical world, sometimes face-to-face.
A classic move is something called baiting. Imagine this: an attacker leaves a USB drive in the company parking lot with a label that says Executive Salaries 2025. Someone's curiosity is just too much to handle. They pick it up, they plug it into their computer, and bam! The entire network is compromised.
And then you've got tailgating. You see an attacker dressed as a delivery driver, their hands are full of packages, walking right behind you toward a secure door. What's your first instinct? To be polite and hold the door for them, right? Well, just like that, they've completely bypassed all of the building's physical security.
All right, it's a little scary, I know. We've seen how they work. But now for the most important part. How do we actually fight back? The best defenses are pretty practical, and they all start with a healthy dose of skepticism.
This chart is a fantastic guide. You can see the common thread here is just vigilance. If a request feels weird or out of the blue, pick up the phone and verify it through a different channel. And I cannot stress this enough: enable multi-factor authentication on every single account that you possibly can. It is one of the most powerful defenses you have.
The Federal Trade Commission actually offers this really simple 4-step checklist. Keep your software up to date, use MFA everywhere, and back up your data all the time. Seriously, That way, if you ever do get hit with ransomware, you're not stuck having to pay a fortune to get your own files back.
So we've got a solid playbook for defense. But here's the thing. As we get smarter, the attackers get smarter too. And the next evolution of these scams, it's already here, and it is powered by AI.
Generative AI is making these scams more believable than ever before. Just think about it. No more typos or weird grammar in phishing emails. Now attackers can generate perfectly written, personalized messages in seconds. They can create fake profiles, and they can even clone someone's voice for a phishing attack that sounds exactly like your boss.
And this? Well, this leaves us with a really tough and incredibly important question. As that line between what's real and what's fake gets blurrier and blurrier, the challenge isn't just about spotting a scam anymore. It's about rethinking what trust even means. How do we verify what's real when a machine can create a perfect fake? That's the future we have to start preparing for right now.